Our next performer, poet, open micer, gentleman of larynx, is old. What did I say then? No? Gentleman of larynx. Well, he's a gentleman. He has got a larynx. Please put your hands together for Mike T. Thank you. I'm trying to be serious. I can't be a joker. Oh my god. I know.
Okay. I wrote this a couple of weeks ago when they were running that competition for Valentine's Day, and I thought, well, okay, I'll give it a go. So here it goes. Love is as broad as the world is wide, has a reach that the heart cannot describe, becomes captive to the limitations of humanity, where thinking confines its meaning to a moment that is indescribable, that belongs to the individual, who gives the mystery the pinnacle of expression, yet cannot define its existence or preciousness of that intrinsic instant, never to be experienced in the same way again. Love is that human value. It is touch, it is tears, it is scent, it is music, it is the poetry of the moment, that fragment of time, so often devalued when want replaces need. Love is the eternal candle, the flicker of hope on its own altar, has a religion of its own, where belief systems become stalemated. For love does not command, it demands gently that you embrace it and allow it to embrace you. Love lives in all the trenches, hugs those who crouch behind sandbags, bear the barbs of language, misery and tattoos, has a relentless of its own, kills hatred, removes the crown of thorns, bestows its own gentility, revises humanity's reason to live, and celebrate its indefinable beauty. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for your beautiful words from your lovely larynx. Now we have a young lady who I had the pleasure of watching over the last month or so. I missed the very first one, but she's got a style and a voice of her own, and I hope you appreciate it as much as I do. Please put your hands together for Bambi. Thank you.
Right, so I have two. One is mine. It's called Ripley. And it goes a few hours prior to this, your hands drawn and caught in a dozen weary knots, and your eyes sick of looking, and me sick of the hooking like fish, and always with trash like you. And your black still eyes were lightning breaking, and your heart was a door of love locked tight. Warm rooms, drug fumes, a languid muse, those psychedelic blues, and thick sweet blood I thirsted for like ticks on dead dogs. That scent in your spine and religion forced, ethics I cut out for drug fiends I love, lips I'd rip off if I ever touched them, and bloody scabs I'd add to if given half the chance. So fainting and scratching, we all do, I know. Coughing up damp petals and wilting and scorched hand-rolled papers, I dress up and act up, dry on the outside, mechanical inside, while you, pupae-esque, larval, rebirthed in kind and sharing a good hunk of my present soul. And I tremble, drunk, down city streets, lusting for vodka and absinthe, Panadol, scissors, safety pins, falling into hands of punctured people groped in the gay bars, dressed up in polka dots, livid spots, leopard print as inky blots. A baptism, strange baptism, hey Bambi. Drilled after gender, hooked under the ribs, gazed into space and dazing, and I wondered that night how I got away into the mirror, how my wish came true, why can't you be you? And is this how it feels to be you, always, and but in abstract always? And a few hours after this, through the mirror, through the evening down, with black on black and white on white, full lips, dark eyes like empty glass in the reflection you. Yep. I'll leave that one for another day.
You tease, you tease. And now we have, because we have a policy here at the Moon to try and encourage as many people to do as many different things as possible, and we put a call out for more female gender MCs, because you don't like me wearing your dress all the time. A lady has stepped forward today, and she's going to just dip a toe in the water to announce our guest performer today. So please put your hands together for Kieran.
Our featured poet today is Alan Hancock. He's a professional scriptwriter whose work has been produced by the ABC, the BBC and theatre companies in Australia and the UK. He's a theatre director and a teacher. He's been performing his unique mix of stand-up comedy, storytelling and solo theatre for several years. It's comedy with heart and soul, a witty and often provocative take on life in the 21st century. Put your hands together for Alan Hancock.
You know, sometimes you wish you'd sent a different blurb, don't you? You know, I've got a slightly more flippant one. That's more for the funding bodies, I think. But never mind. It sets me up nicely, doesn't it? Yeah. All right, go on then. Yeah, do it. You know, be provocative. Okay, I do my best. This one doesn't need an introduction. It's called Words. When you're a writer, and I'm guessing some of you out there are writers, you know, sometimes the words just flow when everything's fine, and other times they just kind of stop, and then you know you've got it. You've got the big B, you've got writer's block. Words aren't my friend anymore, they don't want to play. They don't love me today. They say, Al, you're no fun anymore. We liked you when you were funny, but now you've gone all serious and it's boring. And I say, yeah, but I don't feel funny just now. I feel sort of introspective, you know, poetic. But words aren't saying anything. They've gone all quiet on me. So I say, look, I'll be original. I'll be fresh. You'll love it. I'll put you in a new order, give you new sentences first time out, brand spanking new ideas, fresh out of the box, stuff you've never even seen before. All right, says Words. And wasn't it last week you were saying in that university lecture you give on Shakespeare that even he wasn't original? Yeah, well, that's language, I say, and anyway, Shakespeare was different. Yeah, sure, he was different, says Words. And then they hang up the phone, click. And when I call back, it's engaged. Words are probably busy talking to Tim Winton or somebody else more important than me. You know, sometimes words can be a bastard. We're not in love anymore. We're not even friends today. And I wonder, was it something that I wrote? Thank you. That's pretty 21st century, that one, wasn't it? Oh, I can tell you're all thinking, oh, this guy's up to date, huh? Right. So I don't know how many of you have seen me read this kind of stuff before, so if you have, you're welcome to go and have a coffee in the other part of the bar. But this is a new one, so I've sprinkled in some new stuff with some stuff that I've been doing for a while. I don't know if you've heard of this stuff called internet dating. Apparently it's very popular, and people, they go on the computer and they meet someone online and they kind of get to know them and think they might fancy them. Then one day they have to meet up IRL, F2F, in real life, face to face. I've heard about this kind of thing, so I thought it would be interesting to imagine a first encounter. Purely from imagination, of course. It's called Touch. And it's actually on a CD that I do with a musician, but I forgot to bring any with me. But I can give them to Janet, and another time we can flog them by the box another time. It's called Touch. Got to imagine music behind it as well. The musician couldn't come today. She had to fly to a gig in Brisbane. Pretty good. And I said, "Hey baby, is that really you? You look kind of different from your picture on the web." And I said, "Hey baby, is that really you? You don't really look like your photo on the page. Your hair's sort of different and you're looking tired, like you didn't sleep much for a week or two. In your photos you look younger, must be the light. On webcam you're so sexy, but that was in the night." And I said, "Hey baby, you look better online." And she says, "Hey baby, you're not the way I imagined. Your voice on the phone was so confident and cool. You sounded so manly and tall and in control. You reminded me of someone I saw on TV. Now you're acting all nervy. You keep going out of focus like you're not really sure who you're meant to be. Your speech is sort of fuzzy, you're on low resolution. You're fading away, you're breaking up on me." And she says, "Hey baby, you're not the way I imagined. You're better online." And the camera pulls back. There are people in a cafe, in a bar, in a pub, in a public space where it's safe to meet a certain stranger who you know at a distance, who's so close you could just reach out and touch if you wanted to. When the world rolls past and everyone is busy with an iPhone and an iPad and a mobile device. Like you want to shout out, "Switch it off, get a life." Like you could just reach out and touch if you wanted to. Then there's this beepy noise. Hang on, there's a message coming in. "Hey baby, is that me or is it you?" I should have put it on silent, but it's too late now. Hang on, just a minute. Is this really you? Wait. Okay. 21st century, it is, isn't it? You know, there wasn't a lot of internet dating when I was young, I can tell you. Okay, there's only two big themes in literature. Those of you who are writers will know all about these, won't you? Love and death. So having done love, I thought you'd better do death. God, it didn't take long, did it? Okay, I might just pull that down a little bit. Okay, this one is called When You're Dead. When I was a teenager, I was very interested in death. And I had this little daydream fantasy thing about being dead. And when I felt that everything was unfair and no one cared about me and everybody was being mean, the way you do when you're 16, I used to go into this daydream and it would make me feel better. The story went something like this. I was dead. Maybe I'd got lost on one of my mountain climbing expeditions and a blizzard had come through and I'd frozen to death up there in the snow and ice at the top of a lonely Scottish peak. And the rescue people had got to me just too late. And because I was dead, I was, of course, sitting up on a cloud in the sky, looking down on my family and friends as they tried to get used to the idea of my sad end. And I could hear and see what they were doing at my funeral. And I could hear what they were saying, like, he was such a wonderful young man, always laughing and joking, and we were all so mean to him, and now he's gone. If only I'd been nicer to him, but now it's too late. And so I'm sitting up there on the cloud in the sky thinking, yeah, well, that serves you right, doesn't it? Now you'll be sorry. But just when I'm beginning to enjoy this and really get into it, a little thought comes along and it goes like this. But if you're dead, You can't see what's going on and you don't know what people are saying about you because you're dead. And then another little thought comes along straight away. So if when you're dead, you're not sitting up on a cloud in the sky looking down on everybody else at your funeral, where exactly will you be and what is it like? And I had absolutely no answer for that one. Have you ever wondered what happens when you're dead? When you're dead, you look down on everybody else and they're sad because they weren't nice to you. I don't think so. When you're dead, you're worm food. When you're dead, only your body dies. When you're dead, people forget about you. When you're dead, that's it, the end, full stop. When you're dead, you are born again and have another life. When you're dead, you live on in people's memories. When you're dead, people tell lies about you. When you're dead, someone lights a candle for you. When you're dead, you become a star in the sky. There is no death, only a change of worlds. When you're dead, if you've been good, you come back as an enlightened one. When you're dead, if you've been bad, you come back as a tapeworm or a slug. When you're dead, if you've been successful, really successful, you come back as money, pure money. My uncle died and he came back as a lounge extension and a Toyota Corolla, a Technics hi-fi system with 12-disc CD changer and Bluetooth, a holiday in Florida for 2 with all accommodation and airfares fully paid, and a mountain bike with 21 gears. Everybody was really and truly sad that he died, but we did like the money. My friend's auntie died and she came back almost immediately as a very large mortgage repayment. So that was nice. I wonder what I'll come back as. There is no death, only a change of worlds. Okay, all us writers, I'm sure like everyone who's a writer here, we like to keep topical, don't we? You know, we like to kind of keep up with what's in the news and the way the world's changing around us. So, I heard this lovely story which kind of inspired this piece. And those of you may remember that in the 90s the Berlin Wall came down. Remember the Berlin Wall? It used to kind of shut off East and West. And people tried to get across it sometimes and got shot and killed. It was very sad. They tried to get out of communist East Germany into the free West. And then there were a couple in East Germany who'd been planning to go under the wall through a tunnel. And they knew they were going the next night. And they knew there was a secret microphone in their flat which is recording everything they said, so they always kept away from that. But on this particular day, just before they left, they stood in front of it and confessed to everything they'd ever done against the state, and then some. And apparently they just got going and they couldn't stop, you know. It's a great story. It may or may not be true. So I wrote a piece, kind of like a bit like Oprah Winfrey as well, called Confession. You get a lot of confessions these days, don't you? Especially in here, I'm sure. Why do we do it, huh? I have a confession to make. It was all my fault and I'm really sorry. I was doing my best. I wasn't doing anything special. I was trying to be good, really, I was. Well, no, actually I wasn't. I was just scared I'd get caught out and then people wouldn't like me. I was bad. I lied a lot. I cheated. I copied things from the internet and pretended they were mine. I let you down. I stabbed you in the back. I borrowed your favourite CD and I never gave it back. Sorry. Well, actually, no, I'm not sorry. I just wanted to keep it. I just got used to having it. I couldn't be fucked to go out and buy one for myself. I never intended to give it back. I've still got it. 2 others as well. Is someone recording this? Are you making a video? Will it be on TV? If I tell you everything, will it all be okay then? Is that the general idea, or have I got it all terribly wrong? Right. I told racist jokes. I wrecked the ozone layer. I destroyed fragile native cultures with my cheap holidays, the tropical paradises. I wiped out the rainforest and polluted the ocean. I decimated the world's finest coral reefs, and I brought the blue whale to the edge of extinction. I ate all the bluefin tuna. I borrowed $800 billion US on my mortgage, and I knew I couldn't pay it back, but the bank gave it to me anyway, so what the hell? I brought Western capitalism to its knees, then I devalued the dollar, and I laid waste the American car industry. It was me. I knew it was wrong, but I did it anyway because it was easy and convenient and everybody else was doing it anyway, so what the fuck? It was just too much trouble to do anything else. But then again, who gives a stuff about American car makers anyway, because they deserve it. They make all these stupid oversized cars, and who wants an American car anyway? They are so uncool. And now everybody in America will have to drive a Subaru Impreza or a Mercedes. So that'll be much better for everybody, won't it? And isn't the free market a wonderful thing? Anyway, I got all this money from people who gave me to invest. I think it was about 50 billion US, not that much. So I did this Ponzi scheme pyramid thing where I paid the return on investment to investors by using the capital that I then received from... Oh no, I can tell you'll never understand it, forget it. It is way beyond you, trust me. I did this Ponzi pyramid thing and now everybody wants their money back. Sorry, it's gone. I spent it. I bought a yacht and a building and a few small governments and shit. Okay, so I made a few mistakes. Sorry. I ate 1,000 tons of hamburger and raised the world's surface temperature by a full degree centigrade. I melted the ice caps, I started the Black Death, and I wiped out the dinosaurs. I suppose it's too late to say sorry to them now. Sorry. About the 50 billion US, I'd like several other cases to be taken into consideration, like the superannuation. No, not mine, yours. I sort of lent it to someone who lent it to someone else who said they'd invested it in this really cool hedge thing, and he did sort of, but then he couldn't get it back because the instrument they used had a futures option which they'd sold long to a creditor in Iceland who oh no, I can tell you're not going to get it. Forget it, you'll never understand. It's gone. All right, I'm sorry. You know what I think? I think there comes a moment in everyone's life when you've got to have the courage to stand up and speak your truth, and to hell with the consequences. Then you feel much better and you can make a fresh start with a clean slate. Just like Alan Bond or Rupert Murdoch. No, maybe not like Alan Bond and Rupert Murdoch. Is this some kind of test? Did I get it right? Did I get a good grade? Do you want your CDs back? Listen, there's more. I exploited the third world and got them to make me dirt cheap sport shoes for $1 a day. I put millions of people on the dole, and I looked everywhere for that superannuation and the money, but it's vanished. Get over it. I said it's sorry. I'm guessing that means that I won't be able to put the new BMW and the trip to Hawaii on the mortgage. Shit, sorry. Did someone get all that on tape? Does it look all right? Did I sound convincing? Shall we call that a wrap? That's a heartfelt plea. Okay, just to show you that I'm not a kind of cynical wordsmith, I thought I'd drop one in. It's a piece I wrote a long time ago for my daughter, Cara, when she was little. She's a lot bigger now. And I just got an email from her, and she's in Morocco, and she's going to all the places that I went when I was her age in another epoch, in another ancient time. And I'm just trying to imagine what she'd be like going to some of the places I went to, which were a bit rough, to be honest, but never mind. She's really enjoying it. This piece is called Inspiration, and it's kind of a memory piece. It's midnight, and Cara is 7 years old, and she's had a bad dream, and she's restless, then she's falling asleep. And I sit on the floor next to the bed where she sleeps, and I put my hand very gently on her head, and I think, the whole wide world of beauty is in you, little girl. all the whole universe of everything that can shine or burn or make itself into a million new things. It's all in you. It's a diamond, it's the one pure flame. It's the sun and the moon at the heart of all your dreams. There inside your head and under my hand is the whole world of wonder and joy and wanting, and it is most particularly and wonderfully your world, and I marvel at how little of it I know or ever could. And I watch my daughter sleeping, and I don't want to move, and I sit and breathe in, and I inspire, and I'm inspired to write these words. I sit in this room and I wonder at the utter impossibility of understanding just this one moment, just this one thing here in my life. And I know it goes on and on forever. It's the beginning and the end of all my love. And all I can say is yes, yes, I know. Thank you. How we go for time? One more? One more. Okay. All right.
One more short.
Yeah. I'm just going to have a look. Okay. Let's do that. Yeah. Okay. Because you're all writers, let's do this one. Does anyone like Laurie Anderson? Laurie Anderson. We have a few nods there, yeah. If you know her work, you'll know that I shamelessly stole the first line of this piece from her, but that's all, honestly. And you're allowed to do that. It's a quotation. So this was, I was just writing, I thought, shit, that's Laurie Anderson, never mind, I better move away from her topic. It's called That Dream Again. You can imagine Laurie singing this first part. I had that dream again last night. You know the one. You're in this city and you're walking down the street and you're in some country you've never been to before, and it's all strange and you're a complete stranger. And when you look round at all the streets and the building, all the people and the faces, they look weird. And I try to read the signs in the shop windows and on the billboards, but they're all written in some weird language like Bulgarian or Mongolian or Martian. I just stand there dumbstruck. I can't move. It's all too weird. All I can do is watch the people go by. Because everybody else in this city, they're all walking along really fast as if they know exactly where they're going. Everybody except me. I haven't got the faintest idea where I'm going. I haven't got the faintest idea where I've come from. I haven't got the faintest idea where I am. I am completely lost. And I look down, I think, what happened to my shoes? And how am I going to cross the street? Then I see my mum, and it's mum, and she's walking along really fast, and I wave at her, go, Mum, it's me, it's Al. But because it's a dream, I have to whisper and she can't hear me. And she just keeps on walking. It's about this point in the dream that I noticed that everybody else in the city has stopped. And they're all looking at me, and they're all waiting for something to happen. And I think, you know, this is just the sort of dream that could come true in real life. And I look down at the sheet of paper in my hand, and at the top of it, it says in very big letters, confession. And I look up all the people waiting patiently, and I think, it's always this kind of dream that comes true. It's always the one where I feel a bit nervy and anxious. It's never the one with the beautiful woman who's taking off all her clothes and smiling at me. And I can hear a voice, and it's high and thin, and it's saying, I have a confession to make. And it's my voice, and I do, and it's written down on a piece of paper. It's a bit odd, isn't it? Like I write down things on pieces of paper, then I tell them to a room full of complete strangers. As if it's the most natural thing in the world. I suppose you could call it a hobby of kinds. Pretty strange kind of hobby, isn't it? I suppose it's a bit less annoying for the neighbours than rebuilding a 1986 Ford Falcon in your backyard and tuning up the engine every night after work. And it's a bit less creepy than collecting lots of small things and sticking them in a book. But all the same, it is a bit odd. I wonder why I do it. I read this book the other week. It was in the psychology section at the local library. And in it said that people who feel the need to do play acting and creative writing and things like that are all just making up for a deprived childhood. Like, we didn't get enough attention from our mummies and daddies, and now we want everyone to say, "You're so good, look at me, oh yes, really nice." Is that it? It kind of takes the magic out of things, doesn't it? But then again, most of the psychologists I've ever met are just as fucked up as the rest of us. I'd like to see what their confessions are like. I look down at the sheet of paper and it says in very big letters, "I want everybody in the whole world to think I'm great. The end." The end. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Alan Hancock, a very up-to-date 21st century gentleman whose confessions will be recorded and enjoyed for a long time to come. That was wonderful. We don't normally have 20 minutes of just straight guest speaking, but that was, thank you very much indeed. Went by very quickly because I enjoyed every moment of it. And now down to the business at hand, ladies and gentlemen. We have a little box here. Janet, can you put it in front of me? Thank you very much. It's a little box that we need, unfortunately, to put lots of bloody money in because we need to run the joint, and it costs, don't look at me like that, it costs $160 to do this, and so we'd appreciate it if at half time you could come and put a little bit of money in there, or a lot of bit of money in there, or just lots of love. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Well, oh, hang on, I've got to do it like this. You've got to give us 10 or 5 or 2 or nothing. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Pardon? Pretty close. Was I pretty close? No? Good, fine, that's great, very much. Okay. Puts you far away? Okay. That close? So, okay, right. Okay, totally fucked me up now, Janet. I don't know what I was going to do. Oh, yeah, right.
Don't allow me to fuck you up, you know.
Well, I try not to, but you do most weekends, but we won't go into that one. So, I know, lots of tissue paper. So, anyway, could you please bear in mind these future dates? Me and Janet next weekend, me and Janet the weekend after. No, sorry. Right. On Friday the 2nd of March, there's a SASA, which is the SASA Youth Poetry Slam coming up at the Herb Garden in the Recreation Centre, Chesterfield Road, Mirrabooka. There's details on here if you wish to go along, support it and all the rest of the stuff. There's also the Poetry Pantry, which is a fortnightly sharing poetry, stories and music starting on Friday the 9th of March at the Sultry Cafe in Glen Forest. Again, details are all here. And there's good old Thomas whipping it up at the Rawhide at with the Rawhide at the Hyde Park Hotel. And if anybody who wishes to go along and do an open mic in the week in Perth, nip down there because it's a jolly good hoot. There is other things on here that Janet will mention in the second half, but I'll try and finish this off after following this gentleman, I don't know how, with a small poem from a gentleman called Jonathan Twist, and I hope I get it right. 10... Not working this out. There you go, get your mic sorted. 10 delicate. Have you been to Tender's garden? Between the coffee house and the cocktail bar? There's a metaphor written in drifting script, existing between moments, thoughts that flee distraction. A scientific hallucination that will spin you for a moment to cast your mind across currents. Then let your feet follow under an old bridge perhaps, a cool moment. Oh, a moment's cool and lonely air can be kept as a cloak, shrinking to a half collar of relief that lurks atop your spine as you step into the pervasive eddies beneath the lake of a lemon vigour sun. Pillars of grass trimmed green into the smooth forms of a vintage splendour. Here the flowers crunch numbers and the insects pass about figures garnered from the shady library of trees. The sundial, stuck at 2, slinks away at the setting of the sun. Past a letter penned to missionaries, left astray on a stone bench. past the gardener's memo board, pinned to the arch of trellis, which says that tonight he is visiting a restaurant, invited there to sample wares, for it is said he is a man of great delicacy. Jonathan Twist, tender delicate. Please enjoy the break and then come back in about 15 minutes. Thank you very much indeed.